In late 1978, two major events happened. First, the original Microsoft team decided to move its headquarters from Albuquerque, New Mexico, to Seattle, where it would go on to import thousands of new tech workers to this region, helping make Seattle into the tech hub that it is today. And second, more importantly, I was born. Here I am with my father, just before we fled communist Vietnam as boat people. We eventually settled in Seattle, where my parents would go on to found the first private Vietnamese language newspaper in the Northwest. Even though I grew up with Microsoft in my backyard, I never thought I would be in tech. After college, I became a scholar of modern intellectual Southeast Asian history. The microfilm reader, that was my tech tool of choice. In 2008, at the beginning of the recession, I left academia, and I returned home to Seattle to pursue my real-life MBA by working in my family's Vietnamese newspaper. I became the head reporter, the advertising salesperson, the newspaper delivery person, and the janitor. Obviously, I didn't do a very good job, as you could see. I also created an ethnic media coalition to advocate on behalf of underrepresented voices. After 3 years, I realized that I needed to move on to a larger organization. I was working with 8 people, and half of them had the same last name as me. I looked around, and the only industry that seemed to be growing was tech. So I started networking like crazy. And in an informational interview with a Microsoftie, I explained how I ran the largest Vietnamese newspaper in the region. And she responded, "So do you have a college degree?" I said, "Yeah, I have a PhD from Cambridge." And what I was really thinking is, why did you ask me that question? Why does it matter if I have a degree? I just demonstrated I have relevant experience. That year, I was named to the 40 under 40 list alongside the CEO of Zillow. Sometimes the tech industry can feel so exclusive. To those outside of tech, its growth can feel like it's happening around us and to us, but not with us. The growth of the tech industry over the past 40 years has been huge. We actually have here the highest number of software engineers in the world, largely because we are importing them from other states and other countries. The number of tech workers has grown 50% in just 5 years. You can't deny how disruptive this growth has been. Since 2010, rents have increased by over 40%. Seattle actually has the biggest pay gap between tech workers and all workers, almost 80%. It's higher here than in San Francisco. But the tech industry also has a lot of opportunities. For every software engineer that is coding ninja, we generate 7 non-technical jobs. That includes marketers, accountants, HR managers, yoga instructors, restaurant workers, doctors, lawyers, teachers. Okay, back to me for a moment. I finally did get to prove myself in tech. Someone who I volunteered with believed in me. She worked at Microsoft, and she convinced them to hire me to advocate on behalf of another underrepresented minority, Windows Phone users. But ultimately, I realized that I prefer advocating for people over products. Now I'm at Washington Technology Industry Association, that is WTIA. We help tech companies solve problems together that they can't solve alone, like recruiting for talent. Since I grew up here, I'm really passionate about recruiting from our local community. The tech industry needs all of us. Demand for talent is outpacing local supply by 10x, and importing more talent is just not sustainable. So I'm going to share some examples of what we're doing to help recruit from the local community. WTIA has created the first ever registered tech apprenticeship program in the tech industry. We are providing training and guaranteed tech apprenticeships at tech companies. We don't care about a candidate's educational attainment, just their natural aptitude and attitude. There are many organizations that are working to increase the number of females, minorities, low-income people, veterans, even former prisoners to enter and thrive in tech. This infographic here lists over 60 resources. We're also working to change the way tech employers look for talent and where they look at talent. We created a special job fair called Draft Day, where we take top technical talent from the small schools, the community colleges, the code schools, and introduce them to tech employers. To reduce bias, we remove schooling from these candidates' resumes. So this way, candidates like Samantha Prince from Code Fellows will have a better chance of getting a job. By the way, she did get that job. I'm not just talking about growth in tech companies, but also around tech companies. The tech boom means more jobs for electricians, janitors, construction workers. To ensure inclusive growth, though, these jobs have to have good living wages. So, what do we do to ensure that we are tapping into our local community? First, vote to support education. Education needs more funding in every single level, K through 12, higher ed, adult re-education, so we can retrain our existing workforce. Second, we need more collaboration. So participating in cross-sector conversations like at WTI's Full Con Tech, where we bring together industry, education, and government to come together, learn from one another, and to come up with interesting, creative solutions like the Draft Day job program I mentioned. Finally, we also need to be open to what growth can look like in and around tech companies. 38 years ago, this Microsoft team had no idea what their company would become. And my father, who's right there, had no idea that his daughter would one day work in tech. Remember, for the tech boom to continue, all of us matter.